The Dania Hot Boyz, a.k.a. Grand Mafia, was a group of 8 gang members out of Broward County, Florida, in particular the city of Dania, Florida. The leader of the gang, Sigmund Brown, 27 years old, along with Kavaris Johnson, 23, Gerard Charles, 30, Vondarius Davis, 29, Rajah Roll, 16, Tyreek Jackson, 24, Jared McCabe, 25, and Trayvon Key, 27, committed a series of 8 murders and 12 attempted murders from 2021 to the beginning of 2024. After a months-long investigation that was kicked off by the murder of high school football star Terrance Farrington Jr. outside of a Best Buy in Plantation, Florida, cops were able to tie the gang's leader, Sigmund Brown, to the murder of Terrance Farrington, and from there, everything unraveled.
We're hearing from a former football coach of a South Florida team killed in a drive-by shooting in Broward. Miramar police have identified the victim as 17-year-old Johnny Henderson. They say he was in a car with his girlfriend last night when shots were fired from another vehicle in the 3600 block of South University Drive. Henderson died. His girlfriend was critically injured but is expected to survive. Henderson lived in Miami-Dade and was a running back at Carroll City High School and this last year at American Senior High. A former coach says he heard the gunshots and watched as police tried to save Henderson's life.
We heard some pretty big gang gunshots, and we closed the doors up because they sounded like they were kind of close. And that's when we put everything together. That's what hit home. That's tragic to me. Great young kid. You know, they always say he was one of the good ones, but to us, he was one of the good ones. Started running back, run real good, and
so far, no word on a vehicle description or what may have triggered that shooting.
Developing stories involving rappers. Police in Hallandale Beach say a man was found dead in front of a home this morning. He's believed to be rapper Wiz the Wizard. Florida Highway Patrol says an alleged road rage shooting on I-95 also this morning led to another man getting at least 22 bullet holes to the driver's side of his car. That man is said to be rapper Spot'em Got'em. CBS 4's Jessica Vallejo joins us from Hallandale Beach with what police are telling us about both shootings.
This is the corner of 6th Terrace and 10th Street, and this is where that body was found early this morning in front of this vacant home. You can see those markers still remain on the floor, but this no longer an active scene. Police still remain investigating.
A prior resident to the city of Hallandale Beach.
While Hallandale Beach police have not confirmed the identity of the person found, multiple posts on social media claim the victim was rapper Wiz the Wizard. Police said what caused the person's death is still unknown. Now, Chopper 4 aerials show police cornered off a large perimeter of the neighborhood. Family members showed up to the home. Police say as per the integrity of the investigation, they will not release the man's name yet.
I can't confirm a head wound, but it does appear that he did have some trauma to his body, correct. At this time, we don't have any known suspects, and the investigation is still ongoing.
And if you have any information, police are asking you to please come forward. In Hallandale, Jessica Vallejo, CBS 40.
Discovery in Hallandale Beach where a body was found this morning. Investigators suspect foul play. Local 10's Ian Margle is live with details on this. Ian.
Yeah, police cleared this scene about an hour and a half ago at this point. This is the home where that man was found, but there are still a lot of questions left to be answered here. Namely, why did this happen and where was this man killed? Make their way into a crime scene after a man was found dead on a sidewalk Friday.
Investigation continues. There's going to be detectives reaching out to the family, friends, trying to get some more information.
According to Hallandale Beach police, a neighbor found the body around 6 a.m. in front of this home on Northwest 6th Terrace and 9th Court. It's unclear at this point if the man was actually killed there or if his body was dumped, but police say he did grow up in the area. Although law enforcement hasn't confirmed who he is, the victim has been identified on social media as rapper Wiz the Wizard. And as people gathered at the scene, some pushed their way under the crime scene tape.
When you suspect that it might be a family member of yours or a loved one, you would want to try to confirm that for yourself. It wasn't anything malicious or ill will. It was just trying to get their own confirmation.
Now, investigators are working to figure out who did this and why.
We're making a plea to the public at this time that if anyone has any information that could help us assist with a suspect, then that would be greatly appreciated.
So this is still very early stages of this investigation. Wiz the Wizard, his real name, Wisdom Will. And the police did tell us that the victim grew up in this neighborhood. He hasn't lived here in a bit, but did grow up here when he was younger. As soon as we get any updates on this case, of course, we will let you know. For now, we are live in Hallandale Beach. I'm Ian Margol.
Now on to a deadly discovery after a woman was found dead inside a van in Fort Lauderdale.
The back windows of the van appeared to be shot out. Local 10 News reporter Ian Margol is live with the latest on this investigation. Ian.
Things in this Fort Lauderdale neighborhood really quiet now, but last night this was a very busy scene, and I've spoken with family members of this victim. They tell me they are absolutely heartbroken today. Let's take you back to that scene last night, right around 6 p.m. Fort Lauderdale police say they responded to the home on Northwest 30th Way and 21st Street, where we're standing right now. They found a woman shot in the front seat of a van right in the driveway here. The woman was pronounced dead on the scene, and the detectives began their investigation, working the area for any evidence of what may have happened here or why this woman was targeted. Now, we have been able to confirm through family and neighbors, this woman was named Dorothy Smart. She went by Dee Dee. Neighbors say she was a lovely person, an absolutely great person to be around. We have also confirmed she is the mother of South Florida rapper Psycho Bob. We're trying to get more information about exactly what happened here. We have been able to confirm no arrests have been made. If you know anything that can help detectives on this one, call Broward Crime Stoppers at number 954-493-TIPS. We're live in Fort Lauderdale. I'm Ian Margol.
Staying on top of breaking news at 5 o'clock, deputies swarming in Dania Beach after a shooting turns deadly.
And that's where we find Local 10's Christian De La Rosa. He joins us live with what we've learned in the last few minutes. Christian.
Just within the past 15 minutes, we learned that the man who was shot here was transported to the hospital, and that's where he was pronounced dead. Let me show you where detectives are focusing their investigation, right outside this orange and beige apartment building on the 700 block of Southwest 10th Street. Let me send you the video. We're told that all of this went down just before 2 o'clock in the afternoon. Neighbors tell us they heard several gunshots, then saw the man on the ground shot. This is where rescue crews and BSO responded. They later transported that victim to the hospital where, again, he was pronounced dead. This is a neighborhood with elderly people, families with children. You can imagine how shaken they are to see all of this go down in broad daylight.
My 3-year-old is the one who said, "Mommy, we heard something." So when my daughter said it sounded like a gunshot, I got them in immediately. It's just sad to know that this type of stuff happens. You know, there's kids around here, there's elderly people around here.
Back out here live again, BSO here still processing the scene. This block, 700 block of Southwest 10th Street is still closed off to traffic. As soon as we learn more, we're still trying to learn the identity of the man who was shot here and also the motive. We'll report back as soon as we get it. We're live in Dania Beach. I'm Christian De La Rosa, Local 10 News.
Crackdown taking down a violent gang of suspected killers. Now a list of murder cases are heating up again. Vanessa Medina is live in Fort Lauderdale with the details for us. Vanessa.
That's right, some of them dating back to 2021. What happened was, according to police, a case in January blew open the whole thing, and now 8 suspected murderers are behind bars. A violent gang, police say, off the streets and in jail. 5 going before a judge Wednesday, facing a 33-count indictment, which closes 8 murder cases and 12 attempted murder cases in Broward County. The investigation began back in January after 17-year-old Terrance Farrington was shot and killed at a Plantation Best Buy.
They was behind ring cameras. Terrance came out, Terrance fell and died right there.
And all 4 people were shot, including 2 customers. The star football player was killed. Police now say Sigmund Brown, Kavaris Johnson, and Gerard Charles are responsible for the teen's death.
Terrance was a student full of life and love and He was one of the star players on my 707 football team.
A print lifted at the scene led BSO's gang task force to one of the gang members, and that blew open this investigation. 10 months later, 8 now arrested, guns confiscated, along with stolen credit cards, gift cards, and ammunition. The state attorney's office now breaking down each case and charges against each suspect. Trayvon Key and Cavaris Johnson charged with the shooting death of rapper Wiz the Wizard, or Wisdom Johnson, back in September of 2021. Johnson is also accused in the shooting death of Antoine Dobard. He was shot at a laundromat in Pembroke Park, April 9th, 2023.
I see these 4 guys with black hoodies, and I looked and they started just unloading. They just started firing.
Johnson is also accused of murdering Vernaldo Donner and Terry McKenzie, both shot and killed while driving on I-95 in Fort Lauderdale, May of last year.
Second victim has a gunshot wound to the back of the head. 2 level 1 traumas going to Broward.
We have Sunrise Boulevard completely shut down westbound. They're walking the ramp, looking for evidence on this roadway right now, possibly bullet casings.
Cavaris Johnson and Raja Roll facing yet another murder charge, this one a week after Terrance Farrington was killed, this time.
I've been shot. Come on, my boyfriend.
Johnny Henderson shot and killed while driving in Miramar.
We just heard pow, 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 pow. It was like a semi-automatic. So it was like 4 times or 5 times.
All 8 facing serious charges that could land them in jail for life and or the death penalty.
Home here, 8 suspected gang members are off the streets today, arrested in connection to multiple murders that stem back as far as 2021, including the murder of a 17-year-old. His name was Johnny Henderson, and this happened in Miramar, and it was earlier this year.
NBC6's Bree Buckley spoke with Johnny's mother about the break in this case and joins us live in Miramar. Bree, an emotional update for her, I'm sure, right?
Yeah, absolutely. She said it's just been such a tough year for her and her whole family, but she's thankful that someone was caught and hopefully getting justice for Johnny. That 17-year-old was murdered in a drive-by shooting here on University Drive in Miramar just at the beginning of the year.
I always call him a smart child because every time he asks me for something, he'll say, "Oh, Mom, can you get me this? And you don't got to buy me this. If you just get me a shirt and don't give me the pants." That's smart, ain't it? That means you only got to buy one thing.
Nikisha Young remembers her 17-year-old son, Johnny Henderson, as smart, funny, loving, and her football player. He was sadly killed when a white sedan pulled up next to him and shot into his car on University Drive in Miramar on January 28th, killing him and critically injuring his girlfriend, who was in the car with him. On Wednesday, BSO announced the arrest of 8 alleged gang members in connection to his murder, as well as 32 other counts of murder, attempted murder, and racketeering.
They took a great person away from me. And this year, it's been rough. I'm not going to lie. It has been rough. And I just thank God that he was able to give me justice for Johnny. And they didn't get away with it.
BSO says this was part of a months-long investigation into unsolved cases across Broward County. Authorities say the group are all gang members of the Dania Hot Boyz gang, also called Grand Mafia. They are Sigmund Brown, Cavaris Johnson, Gerard Charles, Vondarius Davis, Tyreek Jackson, Gerald McCabe, Trayvon Key, and just 16 years old, Raja Roll. Here's a timeline of the murders they're accused of. First, on September 16th in 2021, Wisdom Williams was shot and killed. His body was found in Halladale Beach. Then on April 9th, 2023, Antoine Dobard was shot and killed in Pembroke Park. On May 9th, 2023, Vernaldo Donner and Terry McKenzie were both shot and killed near I-95 in Fort Lauderdale. Police say the group's intended victim wasn't even in the car. Then on July 15th of 2023, Wayne Smith was shot in Hallandale Beach, dying days later. On September 13th, 2023, Dorothy Smart was shot and killed in the driveway of her home in Fort Lauderdale. And this year, on January 20th, Terrance Farrington Jr. was shot and killed at a Best Buy in Plantation. Sigmund Brown's fingerprints were allegedly found on a car that launched this entire sting. Just a week later, on January 28th, Johnny Henderson was the most recent victim, and hopefully their last.
Yeah, you took my son away from me. I forgive you. but God got the last say so. And I just thank God that y'all got caught. And you thought you was going to get away with it, but you didn't.
Each suspect is being held without bond. If convicted, they could be facing the death penalty. Live in Miramar, Brie Buckley, NBC 6 News.
What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of Green Lit Gang TV. Much love, much appreciation. Thank you guys so much for checking out the channel, the video. If you guys like the content, please, man, like, subscribe, hit the bell. My ADD ass, sometimes I don't even ask you guys to hit those. There's sometimes in videos I'll say it, sometimes I won't. It is what it is. But, man, if you guys like what you're seeing, comment, like, subscribe, hit the bell. But really, man, the subscribers means a lot. I love the engagement on the comments as well. But anyway, I'm trying to crank out a lot of these videos to end the month. Today's story is pretty interesting. We're going to be going to Florida with it. We're going to be covering the gang known as the Dania Hot Boyz, Dania, Florida. And actually, it's the first city incorporated in Broward County, Florida. This was a group of 8 guys, okay? And, man, they wreaked havoc for, I'd say their run was 21 to 24. 2021 to 2024, that is. They ended up being charged, okay? November 13th, 2024, they're charged and arraigned within a couple days. 8 homicides, 12 attempts. Arrests were made all throughout 2024 between June, August, and even all the way up until November 7th. But authorities, both at the federal and state level, were able to round these guys up. Now, the 8 individuals we're talking about: Sigmund Brown, 27, Kavaris Johnson, 23, Gerard Charles, 30, Vondarius Davis, 29, Tyreek Jackson, 24, Jared McCabe, 25, Trayvon Key, 27, and the one minor in the group, Raja Roll, 16 years old. Now, originally, in some of these articles, they won't name him. Eventually, though, after you get charged, I'm sure he's going to be charged as an adult with some of these because he did have bodies on him. They did put his name out in the media. Now, in those 33 counts, they include murder, attempted murder, racketeering charges, your continuing criminal enterprise. It's very easy to get those racketeering charges. And, man, if they get those on you, even at the state level, you are looking at serious time. Forget the murders, right? Not actually, but you know what I mean. Like, man, they're going to just bury you with the years they can put on you. Now, we're going to be going over the victims, and then I'm going to be talking about exactly kind of who committed what crimes. Some of these guys were way more active than other members, okay? Now, the victims themselves. Wisdom Williams, better known as Wiz the Wizard, a local up-and-coming rapper, had ties, to some of the local rappers on that scene, worked with some somewhat big names, but he was up and coming, man. Now, he gets killed September 16th, 2021. His body's found in Hollandale Park. That's that video I put up of basically family and friends running to that site. And just, it's tragic. It gives you a real raw view of these cases. And I think what happens is, even as me as a content creator, you cover so many of these murders, you cover so many of these things that happen, and you kind of become desensitized. You don't realize that these are like real people. These are real, actual people whose lives matter, whose mothers, fathers, people love them. People, care about them. People are heartbroken, and lives and families are torn apart by these murders. He gets killed September 16, 2021. Now, about a year and a half later, almost by April 9th of 2020, a little over a year and a half, we go all the way to 2023. April 9th, 2023, Antoine Dobard, he's shot and killed in Pembroke Park, Florida. Exactly a month later, May 9th, 2023. Ronaldo Donner and Terry McKenzie, they are shot and killed on I-95 in Fort Lauderdale. The intended victim, whoever the Dania Hot Boyz, and they also go by, the Dania Hot Boyz also go by Grand Mafia. Whoever their intended victim was not in the car. They blasted these guys' mid-sized Mercedes SUV and shot and killed them both, okay? And it almost just makes you mad when you find out those aren't the intended victims. A couple months later, July 19th, 2023, Wayne Smith was shot in Hollandale Beach. Now, he gets shot on July 15th, but he was pronounced dead on the July 19th of 2023. Dorothy D.D. Smart, she is shot and killed in her driveway of her home in Fort Lauderdale, Florida. Now, interestingly with D.D. Smart, and I'm glad you can't just do surface level stuff. You got to read into this stuff, okay? She is the mother of South Florida rapper Sicko Bob, who's got ties to Kodak Black. He who himself had been shot in 2021 wasn't able to find out if it's the same gang. I will say this, it would not surprise me if it was. Now, that brings us to, and not that one's sadder than the other, but these last two, well, this second to last one, murder of Terrance Farrington Jr. That happened on January 20th, 2024. He's shot and killed outside of a Best Buy in Plantation, Florida. Okay? He's there just picking up some Ring cameras. He was beloved. All right? Now, what blew this case wide open was, upon investigation, they find Sigmund Brown's fingerprints inside of Terrance Farrington Jr.'s vehicle. Sigmund Brown is the leader of the Grand Mafia, the Dania Hot Boyz. This is his group. He's the head of it. That's what really kickstarted this investigation. And then they've got all this other, physical evidence from, these other cases, but they're not able to tie it together. And let's be honest, a lot of these local law enforcement agencies, they're already stretched thin, okay? You've got killings happening a lot of major drug crime, property crime, gang crime, and shit gets, excuse my language, stuff gets bad, all right? Well, Terrance Farrington Jr., shot and killed. It's a brutal thing. He is a high school football star, okay? He's 17 years old. He's there picking up Ring cameras. Now, talking about him and stuff, goes, quote, Terrance was a student full of life and love, and he was one of the star players on my 7-on-7 football team, said Delvin King, the principal at Youth Under Construction in Pompano Beach, Florida. As detectives continued to search for clues, they found Sigmund Brown's fingerprints from a vehicle that was connected to the Best Buy shooting, and that just blew things open. Because a lot of these guys, they've got records, they're convicted felons, they're in the system. So the minute they tie one together, boom, 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 you're going to tie a bunch of them together, okay? And that's where they said Sigmund Brown, detectives said, is the leader of the notorious Dania Hot Boyz gang. It was determined by them that Brown and two others, Johnson and Charles, were responsible for Farrington's death and the attempted murder of 3 others. All right? Now, when they raid these guys, find these guys, they find, going through all their houses, apartments, family homes, and all that, they find guns, ammunition, gift cards, and stolen credit cards that were discovered during, those are the pictures I put up. Those are discovered during the course of the investigation, all right? Now, they make 8 arrests over the course of 10 months, and that's where I said June, August, and November of 2024, okay, which is, then they basically get arraigned over the course of November 13th. They go to court. 5 of them plead not guilty. There were 3 others that were still waiting to get arraigned and all that. But long story short, at first everyone's going to say, nope, wasn't me. And they're going to, sadly enough, I don't know if, not sadly enough in this case, but most of these guys can't afford attorneys. Their families might be able to pay for them, but honestly, they're going to end up getting public defenders. And you're just going to hope to plead out. It's 8 homicides attributed to these guys, 12 attempted homicides, okay? Now, Terrance Farrington Jr. was not the last murder of this group. He gets killed January 20th, 2024. On January 28th, another high school football star, Johnny Henderson, is shot and killed in Miramar, Florida, okay? That was also very bad. Very, very bad. There's the 911 call with Johnny Henderson. He's inside of a white, it looks like a Ford Fusion with his girlfriend. She starts calling 911 and, quote, I've been shot. My boyfriend, Henderson's girlfriend, told a 911 dispatcher. Other callers dispatched to the incident said we just heard pow, 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 pow. And I don't know, said a caller. Quote, another one. It was like a semi-automatic, like gunshot noise, like 4 times or 5 times, said another caller. Henderson's girlfriend was rushed to the hospital and has since been released. Roll and Johnson are facing another murder charge for Henderson's death. Broward County Sheriff's Office said that the gang members were also involved in 3 murders in 2023. So 2023, they were very active as far as 2024. They talk about the April 9th, 2023 murder of Antoine Dobard, was shot and killed in a laundromat. One of the witnesses said, I see these 4 guys with black hoodies, and I looked, and they just start unloading, okay? Now, we're going to talk about kind of who did what, all right? Now, we're just going to jump right into the minor in this, Raja Roll, okay? Rajah Roll is attributed with the week after the Terrance Farrington murder. He takes part in the murder of Johnny Henderson in that Miramar, Florida incident. Now, Trayvon Key, 27, he's accused of gunning down Wiz the Wizard, Wisdom Williams, in September of 2021. Williams' body was found in Hollandale Beach. Gerard Charles, 30, Tyreek Jackson, 24, tied to allegedly gunning down Dorothy D.D. Smart. Remember, that's Psycho Bob's mom, in the driveway of her Fort Lauderdale home in October of 2020. According to the sheriff's office, Key and Brown were also linked to that killing. Okay? And I think they got the date wrong on that D.D. Smart murder. I don't believe it was October of 2020. I have to double check on that. Kavaris Johnson, 23. He's accused of shooting 3 people to death. Now, this guy was super active. I will say this. Out of all of them, Kavaris Johnson seems to have the most blood on his hands. All right? Now, you got the leader, Sigmund Brown. Bad news. He definitely had blood on his hand. They all do. But I'm saying as far as how many bodies, I feel like Kavaris Johnson is at the top of this group. He's accused of shooting 3 people to death, Antoine Dobard in that 23 in Pembroke, Florida. And then he's also attributed with the murders of the couple Terry McKenzie and Vernaldo Donner in May 23. That's where they're in the white Benz going down I-95. Case of what they said was mistaken identity. These cases of mistaken identity cases, I don't necessarily always believe it. I think these gang members are not that dumb. I think they realize that may or may not be. Probably not, but screw it. I'm gonna start dumping. Jared McCabe, 25, he's accused of the fatal shooting of Wayne Smith in July of 23 in Hollandale Beach. Sigmund Brown, was allegedly involved in that murder as well. That was according to Broward County Sheriff's Office. And then it says in this article, the 16-year-old boy, that's Rajah Roll, whom the Herald wasn't naming at the time. That's where they tie him to that Johnny Henderson. He's the last murder of this that took place on January 28th, 2024. Okay? And then it talks about how Johnson was also linked to that killing. All right? And that's Kavaris Johnson. Remember, this is the one that I said I thought had the most bodies. Okay. Johnson, Brown, and Charles are also facing charges for the killing of 17-year-old Terrance Farrington Jr. Remember, he's the one whose case really blew this up because they found Sigmund Brown, the leader of the Dania Hot Boyz. They found his fingerprints in his car. The 8 were arrested between June, August, November. They're all facing first-degree murder charges to benefit, promote, or further the interests of a criminal gang, along with the slew of attempted murder and racketeering charges, adding up to a 33-count indictment. Now, the last one, Vondarius Davis, 29. He's not accused of a killing, but you're running with these guys. So he faces a conspiracy to commit racketeering and conspiracy to commit first-degree murder with a firearm charge. Absolutely crazy. I will try to get an update on this. This is just in the early preliminary parts of the investigation. These guys are going to sit in jail for more than probably 1 or 2 years. Florida is notorious. If any of you are following that YNW Melly case, I think he's been in there for like 4 to 5 years. They've been trying to get him out on a bond, saying he's being basically tortured is what whittles down to. But, sleep deprived, food, stuff like this. He's given bad food. He's been getting sick. In that case, it's really interesting. I'm not going to give my opinion in that case. I'm going to say there's a lot of evidence against him. But regardless, he had the hung jury, but it's like at some point, this stuff has to move forward. You cannot just keep somebody in county jail forever. And that is a huge, and the reason I brought up that's a huge problem in these county jails, especially in these crime-rattled cities. Okay? What I was talking about with those public defenders for these guys just a few minutes ago was because when you get these public defenders, you literally just get caught up in the system. Okay? These public defenders have massive caseloads. They're way overworked, underpaid. They're dealing with all kinds of stuff. And that's where you're going to get the, hey, man, just plea it out. Because we don't have time. And there's also the thought of if you make these state prosecutors work, and when I say work, I mean go to trial, and some would say make them do their jobs, which, hell yeah, make them do their jobs. They will put you under the jail if they beat you. But, if your liberty's at stake, and I'll be honest, if I'm Vondarius Johnson, the last one I said didn't have any bodies, and they're trying to put me away forever, I might fight it. Now, Sigmund Brown, Kavaris Johnson, the guy's got 6 bodies on his hands, man, I think you just should try not to be executed. Not literally, but try not to be put, life, no parole times 10. Maybe you, I don't know. In that case, I feel like you're never going to get out. You got too many bodies. And at that point, I don't think snitching helps because it's like that's the one thing you can hold on to is the fact that you're you're a loyal gang member, you never turned, you never ratted, you can at least do your time as a man with your chest out and be good. You can walk the main line. But anyway, there you guys have it. I really hope you guys enjoyed it. I'm going to keep trying to crank out this content. Much love, much respect. One day at a time. Stay sober, stay healthy. If you guys ever need anything, comment down below. You already know what it is. Peace.